Hey everyone, welcome to another fabulous interview edition of the Electronic Cafe. Mark and I have just had the pleasure yet again to talk to the incredible Peter Duggal and Wolfgang Flür, the legend from Kraftwerk, now crafting his own kind of solo career, working along Pete with the release of his new album. It was a great chat, mate, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's phenomenal. I mean, we're fortunate that we've spoken to Wolfgang and Pete a few times. I mean, Wolfgang headlined with Pete our show last March, Electronic Cafe Live 2. I woke up this morning. How often do you wake up thinking, oh, actually, in an hour's time, I'm going to be speaking to a bona fide legend? We love Pete. We love Wolfgang. We love what they're doing together, what they created together since 2015. And we can't wait for everyone to hear the new album that comes out on the 28th of March.
Yeah, do you know what really, I thought shone or come across even stronger in this episode than the last one, even though it was strong in the first one, is they're kind of romance, you know. It's really cool. Like Wolf so unashamedly talks about how he's, you know, Pete's and his family is his family, and it's so lovely. It's so endearing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're really ultra comfortable with each other, and I think their relationship is just grown from strength to strength out of that they share everything, and the music that's been produced since 2015 has just been out of this world.
Should we let everyone see the conversation we just had with those two wonderful human beings?
Indeed. Everybody, this is the conversation that me and Andy have just had with Peter Duggal and Wolfgang Flür.
I just wondered if you ever thought about bringing that into an album with the live set, because it is such a great, I know it's different live and it's very immersive, but the sound as well. I don't know if you ever thought about bringing out a live album.
No.
Do you want to think about that?
I'll take that as a maybe.
Hey everyone, welcome to another fabulous interview episode of the Electronic Cafe. We are so delighted to welcome some great friends of the Electronic Cafe to talk about the amazing new album Times. Peter Duggal and Mr. Wolfgang Flür. It's great to see you both again. We're so honoured to have you back on the Electronic Cafe.
It's great to see you. It's lovely to be back.
Yeah, it's good to have you back, mate. Really good
to be with you too.
Really, really nice to see you back. And look, congrats on the new album. Loving the new material. You both must be really delighted with it.
Yeah, that's correct. And it's the same to us. I mean, when we speak now, it's like we spoke yesterday. It's just 3 years ago, you know. But, you know, I have you so good in my mind, you both. I really like you. I told Peter a minute before we met how much I like you guys. You are so grateful and so positive, you know. And however, yes, we are very happy with the 13 tracks we did, and it was a lot of work, you can believe me and Peter. But you know, we are not afraid of working, so that's the only thing we can really do, and which we love to present to our fans. And especially at first, we do the music to us, to ourselves. I must tell that.
When we spoke, probably it must have been around the time of the gig when we knew this album was on the horizon. Originally, it was going to be called Magazine 2, wasn't it? But then the title changed to Times. I mean,
sometimes bands change the titles of tracks or their albums. It was just the tracks became more and more and more. And I spoke to my label manager, Barnaby Ashton Bullock, and he said, Wolfgang, it is so completely more and it's so massive. And we were already working on a track with that title, Times. And I thought it fits so good to the artwork of Markus Luix, my longtime graphic designer. who wanted to personalize the whole album this time, to bring pictures from my childhood, from my teenage age to my adult age, with me bringing me in my music instruments, you know. And this is in the inner sleeves of the album, of the vinyl. So I have to give him 100 pictures from me, from my family time and so. And he made a nice collage. And then he said, it's a big time since then until now, a huge spread, which shows you how you grew up with music. You were never disconnected from music, only a short time when I made furniture design, but also in that time I listened to music and orientated what is the time. And it had so much to do with that. And he said, call it times. It's always Marcos who gives us the best ideas, also with Magazine One. But he's a visionary, and he is the guy which I call the style police to me.
Mate, look, it's great to see you both collaborating with some big names again. Yeah, Juan Atkins, Peter Hook. You've got our mutual friend, Mr. Boris Blank, who we spoke to as well. It must be great feeling for you guys to get involved, with you guys. It must feel really good for you both, right?
Yeah, that's correct. It makes me also proud to have these famous and very, very good artists on my side working with me, and did not say no. They said yes immediately.
I need to change my T-shirt. I meant to say yes.
Okay, we make a new record, a positive one.
Yes.
Yes to your life, say yes to your art, say yes to your work.
Exactly. See what we just done, a new track for you.
I think at the moment, the whole world, the people can need some yes, because it's everything is so depressing what is happening. It's really that what you say. I'm proud. Peter too. He gave the good contact to Peter Hook, and he brought another brilliant bass in two of our tracks. You know. Yeah.
Really good, and it's great. You got all the great names working. It's fantastic.
Yeah. So yes. I mean, there's 13 songs on the new album. There was 9 on the last album. How does your songwriting evolve? Has it changed at all over the years, or do you still work in the same sort of way? Like you come up with an idea and you develop it, or Peter develops it? How does the process work?
Peter, what do you think? Does something change?
No, not really. I mean, it can change from track to track, really. One thing we don't have is a kind of a methodology or a structure. It's how we met and how we started writing was very natural. It's a friendship, and then we wrote music as a result of that friendship together, and we just feel different things. I might be inspired by something, I'll send it to Wolf. He might be inspired and have a vocal melody and send it to me, and before you know it, we've got the seeds of a track together, and then we'll develop it. It can take some time. Some of them are quick, some of them take quite a long time. So I wouldn't say it's changed over time. I'd say it changes from track to track. I mean, Say No, for example, which is on your T-shirt. Yeah, that was a very deep and complicated and emotional piece to work on for many reasons. Especially for Wolfgang. So it took a long time and a lot of revisions and a lot of additions and a lot of subtractions. So whereas other tracks can happen within a few days or
yeah. Got you, Matt. Were there any tracks left on the cutting room floor that may be released separately? Hint, hint.
Yeah, there probably are. I think, Wolfgang. Right? There's probably. I mean, we've written so much music together that there's lots of pieces. I'd have to go through them, but I would imagine there's probably another one on the way to an album's worth of material, at least in rough format of ideas and things we've started and left, and
I could add something. I mean, the tracks are so full of stems. We could bring another album out with changes of them, you know, that they sound completely different. Or we make some very good remixes from artists I know which are very good in that. Think about a remix album, and for the next time from the last 2 albums, an assortment of them. But it's always interesting to our fans to listen to the tracks in another way.
Yeah.
Maybe also adding other instruments or something like that. On one of the last talks we did, there was a man. Oh no, it was the German music mag Sonic Seducer. He asked me how I feel when I use regular instruments, natural instruments like I had in Planet in Fever, this strong electro guitar in. It starts very first. I said I had to really tell him it is not a guitar. At least it was a long process on my synthesizer to make it sound like guitar, because I needed this sharp sound of it, you know. And it was very hard for him to believe that. He would use next time a harp maybe, or a saxophone or anything. So we have no borders, Peter and me. If it fits very well, you know, we have the electro bass guitar from Peter Hook and you won't believe it fits to music of Daft Punk musician. Ever imagine, me too, that we had Thomas Vanguard in playing with on the bass line of Peter Hook, electro sound, and it fits brutally good, you know.
Yeah, I bet. That's amazing. Love it.
I saw the album described as kind of a retro futurism, which exactly that. I mean, you have one foot in the quality stuff in the past, and you're also bringing it forward into the current day, and it sounds fresh and exciting. I mean, that's a really great process you've got, and that's the way it works.
I think that's a product of just approaching it authentically, you know, and not trying to. It wouldn't work if we were trying to rehash ideas of the kind, you know. So I think that's what makes Wolfgang and myself click together so well. You know, there's a deep understanding that this is art and music, and this is about now and the future, and obviously things that have happened in the past inform your creativity, and because that's who you are. Yeah, but you can't just create something that's like a pastiche of what you've done in the past, because you know, that's just, it's much harder to do as well, and much more boring to do. So,
I think you're too creative to be like that as well, to be honest.
we couldn't do that. We could never do that.
Magazine 1 album, I mean, it was very much a concept album. I mean, it was like a magazine. Each song had a subject matter, and it had as if it was a new article. You know, it very much played out like a magazine. Wolfgang, you mentioned earlier, which kind of answered this question, like time is the theme this time. Is there a theme running through the album of time, like different elements of time, or, you know, different aspects of time, or is it as much of a concept album as the last one, or is it different slightly?
I think it is the continuation of working, of presenting my style of music. I'm in my own right. Since I left Kraftwerk, I have developed this storyteller style where I am in my own songs. I started that already in 1997 with the Timepie album, which I got a contract with Emi Electrola of Cologne. That was my first album I did after Kraftwerk, and I already started then the storyteller, because I could not sing very well, and I have a good voice for a narrator, they told me, and I had to dig that, and I do it since today. As I make book readings in churches, in schools, from international literature and from my own books. So the people like my voice and listen to it. So I transport that into my music as well. When we have these little radio plays, or I play the news speaker inside of maybe in Planet in Fever or otherwise. But I learned more to sing and got more joy in singing, you know. I took some lessons in between and became better and better. So this time on this album, I sing more than speaking. It's fun. I really must tell. We had some artists invited to sing here or there, but they did not react positively enough, like, let us say, like Mitch Ur on the last album. So I had to learn myself, and which at least, as said my label manager, it was good that I learned to sing. People want to hear my voice. It's my album, at least. And yeah, there is no other concept than bringing different stories of daily life, stories, problems of literature, of politics, of love. We have sex. We have a sex offer inside. Can you believe this? We forgot that the last time. What a pity. I said to Peter, I mean, this is most interesting, most important in the world. Otherwise, we would not exist without sex, you know. So sex offer, you can have a offer. So that's new on the next album. It's really crazy. The narrator inside is very, very strange. I don't tell you more at the moment. You know it already.
Yes.
Our people must listen who would be. That is at least the concept, to bring stories of the daily life. I'm a visionary. I say always the titles. I write the stories, the lyrics, and develop some of the most important melodies. But with Peter, he agrees, and he says he delivers immediately the stage for me with his giant and his wonderful arpeggios, you know, these arpeggio melodies. He's the king of that. Nobody is so good in that like him. And he gives the backings, what I say, the stage where I can act like an actor in a movie or in a theater, you know.
Most ardent quality. You're someone who misses hot sexuality. I activate juices, love label high, drop moral fuses, sex energy supply. I satisfy cravings.
It's an amazing style of songwriting. It really resonates with me that if you listen to a song and it tells a story and it makes you go and investigate further, like the subject matters. I mean, yeah, Just Say No it was a perfect example about the poem that it originated from. I mean, IMD do it quite a lot, say Enola Gay or the historical things. And I think that's a really interesting form of songwriting.
They've got to take you somewhere else, haven't they? Songs, really.
Yeah,
because
that's half the reason we love it, right? It's like escapism, mate. You kind of
the
real world to hear some real stuff. They might have some real world lyrics, but the melody and everything just makes it in such an amazing experience, as you say.
Yeah, it's there to make sense of the world in a way, if you like. Song, music, pictures. Yeah.
Exactly. And look, you've both worked with you spoke about the amazing artists across the last two albums. Is there anyone in the sort of Pete Wolf radar for any further collaborations that you really want to work with? Or can you not tell us because it's a secret?
No, I would not. I have nothing in common now in my mind. Now I am prepared. 20 years before, I was not prepared enough. I had to find myself, really. I had to find myself until I came up to this stage of music making to put together with Peter. Since then, I feel encouraged enough to ask other people from my level and also younger people to be involved in our music. If they like it, like Boris, I would say he did not know the track which we sent him. We sent him only the backing. It was only 4 tones. Da 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 da. And my only spoken word on a vocoder, I think, global youth. So he had only the pitch, and he had the tempo, and these 2 inputs and these 2 parts. And then he developed a complete new track from that.
Amazing.
I just wanted a little bit of go far away, go abroad, anywhere with a song in the middle part. I love that. And the song completely changes into another world, another atmosphere, you know, and then returns back straight into the chorus or straight into the melodies, the verses or so. And he completely understood that. And he had just released a new album himself a year ago. And I had to meet him. The meeting was arranged in Switzerland, in Zurich, where I played a track, a show, the Musiksoldat show. I was with my wife there. And a meeting was arranged on the next day. We go in the famous Krughalle in Zurich to have lunch. And then he called 2 hours before, and he was very, very cold. He had a big cough, and the whole Swiss had a cough. Everyone coughed. And so he denied to come, and he said, let's telephone or email the coming week. And then when my wife and I were back from Switzerland, we had also this cough. I cannot recommend to go to Switzerland in February. I don't know what's happening. Everyone got really. Then he told me, I have to go to the Toscana, and they had bought a little chalet, and they wanted to renew it and paint it. And he said, I take my laptop with me and some devices as well. Don't worry, Wolfgang, over the summer. I said, how long will you be there? I said, until it's done. Do you have a deadline? And we said, no, we don't have a deadline. So the album is done, is finished when we say it's finished. Because we had originally planned with my label manager and Cherry Red to bring it out already in September. So that was not possible because we were on 2 further tracks, which we found so important that we said, so we work longer until it's done. It was Global Youth, and another one was Starship Universe, which we parted into 2 different arrangements, one of Peter's, one of mine. Peter can explain, why that came. Boris, wait, let me just tell the end. We had to wait until September when it originally should be out, and I was shy to ask him, to push him. I knew what he had to do with his own album. So much promotional work, so much traveling, giving Zoom interviews like we do now, or interviews for print media and else. This is a lot of work, and you cannot be creative in such a time. We gave him all the time he needed. And then in September, I asked Peter, what do you think? Could we ask him a little bit, very, very friendly? And Peter said, Wolfgang, I know you. You will find your nice words, I took some honey and smeared it around his mouth, as we say in Germany. I sent him a very, very, very nice email. And he said, Wolfgang, don't wonder, I'm on. Give me some days. 2 days later, and he did not say anything the whole year, the whole summer. And 2 days later, I got a complete new track. I could release it as a remix. Yeah. I had to cut out a little piece, a special piece, which I was aware immediately, which fitted on that place where I wanted to have it in the track, in the middle part, to go far away and then back. And I put a little, I only added a little vocoder narrations inside that explains what is happening. It is an homage, at least it is an homage on Mother Earth, on our Mother Earth, and on the global youth, which I'm very proud with their strength, with their power, what they are doing to rescue their future. I've made a very nice, very strong video. I cut it up myself this time on the track for my live shows. And the other one was the Starship Universe, which changed into 2 different titles. And Peter can now explain completely and exactly, please, Peter, very exactly why that happened.
Yes, no problem. Yeah, it's Starship Universe, which is, I don't know if we'll come back onto that in a bit anyway, but it's actually not called that anymore. So we had the basis of this track, and it's one we were working with Thomas Vanguard and Peter Hook on. And we both had slightly different ideas of which part of space it should go into, So we took the basis parts, and then we did 2 separate arrangements. Wolfgang did one, and I did one. So mine ended up being called Überall, and Wolfgang's ended up being called Monday to the Moon, which is the last track, right? Here, there's there's no rules. We didn't say, well, we're only going to use one. We liked both of them, so we used both of them, and they both have slightly a different feel, but the message is the same. And in the middle part of mine, I had this idea to have the language change and for it to drift off into to take you on a journey out into space somewhere. But it felt to me like the language change would really lift it. Rob, who's a friend of Rob Keane, who sings on Property, actually also on the album, who's a very good friend of Wolfgang's and has become a good friend of mine as well. I mean, he works in a school in a music school, an international school where he teaches music, and we had these wonderful young girls who sang that middle section for us in German. So that's a really special moment on that.
I love the girls singing.
Yeah, so really pleased with how that ended up. It's like I said, we have an honesty between us both, where we won't force something if we think it's going in a direction that one of us is uncomfortable with. We'll either drop it or change it, or in this situation, we just took it in two different directions.
Great solution. Yeah, it's brilliant. Love it.
We spoke about this briefly earlier. Magazine 1 was 9 tracks. This is like 12 tracks on time. A lovely double album, which would be great with all 12 tracks. I mean, you guys in 2 years have written, recorded, and the number of shows that you've played as well. I mean, you guys are
working hard.
You're really prolific in the last couple of years, or certainly the last 5 years, I'd guess.
We've probably spent quite a lot of time with each other or working with each other. Yeah, it's been good.
We played 60 shows together. Meanwhile, Peter told me that I have not counted it, but I was really astonished that it was already so much since we met in 2015 in his hometown, Hampton Bridge, where he lives with his family and where he has his studio where he's just sitting in. He meanwhile changed his house, so he has a bigger studio with original nature coming inside from outside, So he is improved and lives much better now. And his nice children are nearly going to be adult. One is already studying in Liverpool, and the girl is, I think, on the end of her school time, and she's more beautiful than ever. The whole family is my family as well, and my wife also loves them. Since we work together, we are soulmates, It's like my brother. So even if we don't live close to each other. We have a big distance, but the internet brings us very near, you know. That's the good thing. This strong internet where we can send files there and back, and even big files, even video files, which have hundreds of megabytes. So no problem. Chuck, it goes there and there. We make Zooms like we do. We can see each other, you know. We can speak. We can phone over WhatsApp and email. So absolutely no problem.
Lovely. Amazing.
Peter, I've got to ask, because as the geek in me, you post like new bits of equipment and you show snapshots of your studio, which makes me very jealous most of the time. But is there any new kit that you've introduced into this album that's kind of like inspired you at all to change it?
New kit? Probably not. I mean, I don't actually buy a lot of new kit, bizarrely. I buy some old things occasionally. But since I've moved to this new studio, I've actually trimmed everything down quite a lot. You know, there's a lot of stuff just gets in the way. So if I haven't used something for a while, I put it up in storage out of the way, you know, so it's not distracting me, because basically sometimes you come in the studio and it's just, you turn everything on, you're ready to write, and there's a hum somewhere or there's a noise, and it's like, it's really annoying. And then, you know, an hour later, you're underneath the desk with a torch, and, you know, so I try to keep it all tight and streamlined. But in terms of, you know, in the software world, there is some really, really incredible stuff happening. I mean, as Wolf said, I'm really into MIDI effects and arpeggios, and the way the machine can interact with you and sort of you can bounce ideas back and forth with the machine, and the rhythms and so on. I get a lot of inspiration from that. So yeah, I've been using some really nice tools. There's some really nice, they call them arpeggiators, but they're far more sophisticated than that now, you know. So I use so many, I couldn't name any names, but there's a really old one I like called Nora by a company called Squareheads, and that doesn't actually exist anymore. I think the last version was about 8 years ago, so it doesn't even work on new machines or anything. But I use a piece of software now called Bitwig, so I'm not using Ableton anymore, and that's phenomenal. So all the plugins. This is getting geeky. Sorry, but you can edit this down later.
No, don't, mate. Mark, this is what Mark loves. Me and Wolfgang will have a cup of tea, but
yeah. Okay.
And then Bitwig lets you run any old software in a little kind of sandboxed environment. So I couldn't believe it. I ran my favorite, you know, arpeggiator of all time that and blew the dust off it, and it just works perfectly. And I was like, I couldn't believe it. So that's nice. Yeah, and there's some great synths. Yeah, the Acoustica stuff is just on a different level. Their Jupiter 8 is just. I mean, we've crossed that threshold now where I defy anyone to be able to tell the difference with a blindfold on. You know, it really is great.
Yeah. If you put anything into storage, I mean, if you need somewhere to store it, I mean, send it down to London. I'll look after it for a bit.
Yeah, you guys are in t-shirts. I'm thinking I'm only 200 miles away from you, but it looks like a different climate down there. You know, it's like.
You Wolf just mentioned, like Wolf said you've done like over 60 shows since 2015. You played a lot supporting magazine. Is that something that's going to continue for the new release? I mean, we really hope so, obviously, but
yeah, we have about another 20 shows lined up, some potentially interesting ones abroad as well, potentially. So it's always great. I mean, we also, you know, we also come up with a lot of ideas when we're on tour together. So, you know, when we're traveling between places, we sometimes have ideas, like on the last record, Billionaire Symphony of Might. I mean, we pretty much nailed that on a trip from Edinburgh to Aberdeen, I think, in a car, you know, not write it, but, you know, come up with a concept. And then I'd get an idea of a piece, and then, you know, and then so, you know, you never know, another album might come off the back of this time.
It's very important. Like Kraftwerk were also on tour and had the idea of Autobahn. that would not happen when they're not always driving with their own car on the autobahn, and they had all these sounds of the lorries overtaking, wow, 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 and the wind outside when you open the window. And all the greens, great sight and wonderful landscape and all the sounds which are coming in to have the idea to make a song on that because they found it so wonderful. I don't know where they were driving, maybe on the Black Forest part, which is the most beautiful part. You would not have that idea when you go into the Ruhrgebiet here in the industrial area. It would sound different maybe then. It would be maybe a hot industrial track, but that was not in the 70s that someone thought it could have a chance with an industrial track, that came later with the techno music. But anyway, the same happens to us, having many, many meetings and travels by plane in your country, by train, by car. We speak so much about things and about themes which are in the air, and we just have to grab it. We are artists. We can immediately write something about it and speak about it and think, oh, this is important. We should make some music to it. So Peter described that one when we were from
Edinburgh to Aberdeen.
Edinburgh, yeah. We got a WhatsApp from Juan Atkins, and he sent me his new bass of track 10. Which I was in love. I think I explained it the last time. But this time we used the original one he sent me over because he could not give it me immediately because he had recorded it with the ADAT machine in the 80s. And this machine did not work anymore. So he had just the cartridges, the 8-track cartridges, but they would not work. The machine was kaputt, as we say in Germany. And he said, no problem. So I must play it new for you, Wolfgang. I can't remember which sound it was. But he's a bit lazy. It needed more than 6 months until we got it. So we got our... Then I was encouraged and I said, when you are already on playing it, can you maybe extend it to 1 or 3 or 4 variations of that? So he sent some variations. And one of them we used on Millionaire on the last album. And the original one from track 10 is now on Posh. That is the first track, the title track and the single. Yeah. I have just finished with Markus Luix and completely AI, what do you say that in England?
AI.
Yeah, AI, yeah.
AI, okay. Completely generated video for it because it fits so well to the theme. Posh is elegant, is rich, is really fitting to this technique, making a video from it. And it's brilliant. It's really brilliant. It's brilliant. You will love it.
I saw that video this morning, actually, Wolfgang. I saw that clip this morning. And I mean, Posh is a great track. It's a great leading single for the album.
I wanted something like on the model, It's a little bit refreshing, but also a wake-up call, a little bit like that. And I think it works pretty well like that. When you open the first track on the album, I think it has a good position there.
Look, Wolf, Pete, look, Mark and I will never get the show we did with you last March, Electronic Cafe Live Volume 2. The sound of both of you was just amazing. But Wolf, would you ever release a live album? And the only reason I ask is so many people were coming up to Mark and I and going, excuse my language, fucking hell, this is just amazing. This is just amazing. And I'm like, yeah, he is amazing. That's why we've got him and Pete on our gig. But I just wondered if you ever thought about bringing that into an album with the live set, because it is such a great, I know it's different live and it's very immersive, but the sound as well. I don't know if you ever thought about bringing out a live album, because it is incredible what you do.
No.
Do you want to think about that?
I'll take that as a maybe.
Even not a maybe.
I love that. I love that. So direct and very honest. Okay, then we'll take that as a no.
I have an explanation. It is a live thing. So and when the people like it, they must come to my show. This is a live show. This is a live thing.
Yeah.
The other thing is my album. So they can buy the album. There are much more tracks on, and sometimes they sound different. And the tracks on the show are also mostly different. More fast, you know, and a little bit less of lyrics maybe. So that's interesting. That's different. So they can have something more. When they come to my show, they have the live music. And when they listen to the record, it's an album.
Still coming to your shows, by the way. I just want to ask.
Let's do another one.
Yeah, we should talk about that, definitely. But yeah, we're definitely, I just say it was just amazing people coming up to us, and for you, Pete, as well. The feedback we were getting from the audience about both of you was amazing.
It's such a great venue. It was a great evening.
The 229, I love that. Let's take the same one then.
Peter, moving on to the Self-Modifier EP, which is amazing. Any new music in the pipeline for that?
Yeah, actually, I've been pretty creative the last few weeks, and I've got 3 or 4 tracks that will probably form the basis for the next one. So yeah, I'm really pleased with those. But yeah, it's just a matter of kind of finish them off and polishing them up. So that's just something I do when usually late at night. Actually, got the headphones on and everything's peaceful and sleepy, and I kind of drift off and write some of those pieces. So yeah, this environment seems perfect for writing music. My last studio didn't really have any natural light, so it was like a prison cell really, which was great in some ways, but it's a kind of slightly different vibe in here. It's more inspiring.
You used to come out in the morning like a mole, just coming into the daylight.
Yeah, after weeks of just not coming out of there at all, you know.
Wolf, love the cover art of the album Times. Who designed that? Because it's a really striking image.
I think so, yeah. What do you think am I on there?
Is that you?
Yeah, it is me. Actually.
Wow.
Yeah, I knew it was you.
Yeah, it is.
There's some great pictures in the whole album art, isn't there? The collage of the album.
You see it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is me sitting on the pole of a what we call a Rhine snake. There is a monument on the bank of River Rhine, very near the Altstadt of Düsseldorf, and it is 25 meters long, the whole thing, and it has a head. It's a wonderful sculpture, and I sit on the pole of the head of it, which comes out of the snake's head, and it is pretty high. And in the age of 10 or 9, yeah, I think it was 9, it must be 1953, when I changed with my parents from Frankfurt to Düsseldorf. My twin brother, my older brother, and my papa were walking there. I can't remember if my mother was there. I think not. But I have also a picture where we all three are on. That could be had photographed my mother, maybe. But I wanted absolutely to sit on that top as I was the youngest and the smartest, the most very thin boy. I had always a little bit, I was shy against my brothers. They had more muscles and I wanted to be stronger than them. I wanted to be more up and needed my stage, you know. I always wanted to be something higher, as all brothers do. They want to be the best and the more in the higher place. And when we were outside, I always played my own mouth organ, but there were always sad melodies. And my twin brother said, "Oh, Wolfgang, don't play always these sad melodies. You make me cry." Then once he said, when we were walking in the meadows, on long meadows, alongside the river, and he said, "You surely will become world famous once." In that age, he knew that. That was a joke. Anyway, he wanted to trick me a little bit out. Anyway, I sat on that. My papa helped me, and I looked at least down on my brothers. That was important to me.
Yeah.
To have a stage. I wanted to be on a stage. And some years later, I was in the school and I had my first stage with my amateur bands. I needed always to act in any way, to play a role. Sitting on that pole is also a role.
It's a great image. It really is. It's so striking.
So that was also the idea of Markus Luix. He said, we want to personalize this time your album. No architecture buildings on like the last album. So we want to personalize only on your Wolfgang inside, and send me all your pictures you have, original ones, even if they are not scanned. Give me all of them, which you have since your childhood. And I gave him all and hundreds, and he made a nice collection from that, like a puzzle for the inner sleeves of the vinyl albums, you know. So many pictures where I am drumming anywhere with the Beethovens, with the Spirits of Sound, with the bellows later on with Kraftwerk, and all the bands in between, or when I played as a guest drummer with anyone, you know. So that's very, very good idea. And I like this also, to see, is that everything is me? Everyone is me? My goodness. Yeah, I think this is a nice present to our fans, and they see I was always involved in music.
There's a young picture of you in there as well, Peter.
That's good. I was hoping no one noticed that. No, it's fine. Yeah, that
was my wish. That was my special wish. I said to Markus, when we have Wolfgang with 10 in there, that is, I think, only in the single. I want to have also a picture from Peter in the same age. And he looks very much like Michael Jackson in that age.
Yeah. I wasn't moving like him, though. I was actually...
Absolutely.
I was in front of my old ZX Spectrum in that picture, actually. I was cut out from it, and on the screen I had a program I'd written saying, "Peter is the best, go to 10." You know, it was one of those moments. But
Love it. Your journey goes on. Looking forward to the tour. When does the tour kick off in the UK? Do you know yet? Have you got dates?
Yes. So the first will be on Friday, the 11th of April in Birkenhead. This is Liverpool.
Yeah.
So we have already played in the Future Yard last year.
Brilliant venue.
Absolutely
brilliant.
Then on the same weekend, on the Sunday, we play Manchester in Band on the Wall. Then I have a show in Belgium without Peter. And then we are on the whole summer is still building up with more shows in May or June. But from September bis December, we are full. Nearly full. Glasgow, Edinburgh, Chester, Bethesda,
Bethesda, yes, in Wales, North Wales, I think.
Birmingham, Lincoln, Newcastle, Kendal, Bedford, Aldershot, and they're coming more and more.
I didn't hear London there.
Not yet.
Guys, absolutely amazing to talk to you as always. We both just wish you huge success with this album. I know it will be. And it's just such an honour to talk to you guys as always. Love talking to you. Could talk to you all day. But yeah, wish you every success to this album because you're two of the nicest guys we know and what you do is incredible.
The album's released on the 28th of March. We've been fortunate that we have heard the album and it is brilliant. I can't wait to have it on vinyl, but I mean, everybody's going to love this. Everyone that loved Magazine 1's going to love this.
We will come and see you as always because you guys are great live. Look forward to your new stuff as well when it comes out, Pete. But Wolfgang, honestly, buddy, can't wait for the new album and thanks for everything you're doing for us. You know, you guys you're a huge part of our musical tapestry, and I know all our Electronic Cafe people absolutely love what you do. So they'll be delighted to see this episode. They really will.
Thank you. Thank you for everything you do as well.
Thanks for your time. Really appreciate you giving your time up today, and enjoy your weekend. And the very best of luck with the album. It'll be brilliant.
Yes.
Thank you, Mark and Andy. Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good time. Stay healthy.
Thanks.
And you, buddy. And you. You look after yourself, Wolf.
Bye,
and
bye.
don't go to Switzerland.
No,
Stay away from
not in
Zurich.
February. Anyway, I like Zurich, but not in February.
Time to leave was done.